Can you just count to 5 so I can just check your volume level?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That sounds great. Go for it. Okay, go for it. Well, I'm going to shut up a little bit and just make facial expressions. So you go for it, Clarie. You take us through.
Okay, I'm going to miss your facial expressions, though.
You get to see my facial expressions all day.
It's true, I do. Nightmare and Silver closed for business. I assume I press confirm.
I believe so.
Let's confirm. Okay.
It looks like I have actually got a couple of characters going in already.
What? You stole my iPad?
I didn't know that you were going to play it.
Okay, so what have I got here then? Someone tell me what I'm looking at.
You're looking at the team that you've... Well, Lee, why don't you tell her?
Wait a minute, you're looking at the level select on my screen because I'm 40 seconds behind. Okay.
Hang on, you're on Skype, aren't you? Here, let me... Oh, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, this is your starting team. We made, when we started laying out at the beginning of the game, we had to make some really specific decisions. Originally, I wanted it to be a 11th Doctor and Strax story, and that got shot down. So we had to replace someone with Strax. And I thought, there were a couple of things. I think Sebastian's a great character, and I think, especially in Doctor Who games, especially games overall, people don't focus on female characters as much as they could. And I saw this as a way of just putting lots of female characters up first. So I thought it was slightly underrepresented. So I thought it was... Hello?
Yeah, I was just going to ask Clarie, what do you think? Do you think female character is underrepresented?
Do you know what? I hadn't really thought about it before, but I would say in computer games, full stop, there's not a huge amount of female characters, and the ones who are there usually aren't wearing any clothes. So it's nice to see someone in full Victorian gear.
Go for it then.
Well, I see it the same way. Anyway, so that informed the decision at the beginning, and then the brand loved the idea of putting Bastion, and I loved the idea of Bastion Jenny, and that led into the beginning of the game. And we had to make a decision what the first level was going to be in the game. And originally, in the original design, it was going to be, we were talking very literally about going backwards in time from the point we launched the game. So it would have been whatever the most recent episode was, and then we would go back in a very linear fashion. But then we changed everything around a bit, and it seemed like we should start with a really classic enemy instead of the snowmen or what it would have been there. So I wanted to go with Daleks or Cybermen.
You'd also kind of be doing the story arcs in reverse, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I didn't really want to follow the narrative arcs as much as the sort of settings and characters.
Yeah, sure.
As we jumped around. So Nightmare and Silver it was just a great episode that led us to, it had a great final. I looked at it in a way of a typical game design way. There'll be a final boss at the end who's Mr. Clever. We have these sub-bosses along the way. Great character you can pick up at the end of the first level. It filled a lot of great gaps, and that's why we chose that at the beginning.
Well, go for it, Will. Get involved in this game then.
Get involved. I'm going to play. Here we go.
Here we go.
This is my moment.
Just going to turn... Okay, you carry on playing. I'm just going to fiddle with volumes a little bit.
And another adventure begins.
Is that your Matt Smith impression?
Oh, was it not very good?
It was like he was in the room.
I know. Are we really on the moon? No, Jenny.
Oh my God, you're going to narrate him.
Damn right, I'm going to narrate it.
I always do this, and you get very upset.
I know.
Look, don't write a script if you don't want it narrated.
You're much more pleasant to listen to than Addy, and I wouldn't mind if you jumped on and narrated all the bits during, his show.
You're going to pay for that one.
No, Jenny, this is an intergalactic amusement park. That's amazing. I stopped a war here once. We need to go back through my timeline, find and stop the Sontarans.
We need Theme Park Inc. Intergalactic.
That would be amazing.
I'd play that. I'd buy that game.
We also need a Sontaran. And close any paradoxes that they've managed to create. This seemed like a good place to start. I completely agree. A war here. We'll do what we can to stop it. Just point us in the right direction, Doctor. We'll need more help, and I have a good idea of where to find some. Okay, here we go. First wave. Did you know you can target individual enemies? I did not know that at all. Try clicking on one to focus damage on them.
That sounds like she's happening.
While targeting an enemy, notice that sometimes a player in your party will have increased damage to that opponent based on their colour. Okay. Others may have decreased damage. Okay.
Shall I take Izzy?
I think if you could just take that, I think she wants to swap sides.
Oh, Izzy's swapping sides.
Sorry, if I do this now, I'll be able to concentrate on the game.
That's fine. So out of interest, those of you that are watching, and thank you very much for all the comments. I'm enjoying reading what you guys are saying. iPurple Ninja says there's no going back once you've started. The game will steal your soul. ZRS1 says turn back while you can. Looks like most of the community are actually encouraging her not to play your game here, Lee.
because of the hours of life that I'll lose. That's okay. Thank you. Right, so what do I do?
Okay, so if you just click on one of the enemies at the top,
Okay.
you can see that you can target either enemy basically by kind of clicking on them. Lee, I think I've actually skipped past the very basic tutorial on this level, so Claire hasn't done that. Do you want to give her the master's 60-second guide to what she needs to do to beat these guys?
She's watched you for hours playing this. She probably has a good grasp of how to move.
Do you?
The gems around.
Move the gems around. There you go.
Move the gems around. Okay.
If you have a few seconds to move one gem as much as you like. You can use that time to shunt other gems into position. If you match 3 or more gems of a certain color, any allies you have of that color will attack. That's sort of the core gameplay.
Okay. So at the moment, I'm seeing 3 orange ones in a row. Would it make sense to move a 4th one into place? Is that how it works?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Here we go. Woohoo! 2 combo.
And there was also a string of yellows that were already there, so they popped off as well.
Awesome. What were those things? Cybermites.
Cybermites. I remember the episodes running around the floor and stuff.
But where you find cybermites, you always find cybermen. Do. Okay. Next wave. Here I go.
Do you remember him from the episode?
Sorry?
Do you remember him from the episode?
I do, very much. Feeling the pressure. Also doing it left-handed.
Hey, all the best people are left-handed.
Yeah, but I'm actually right-handed. Because in reality, all of that...
There he's down!
Ooh! Did I do it?
Cyberman is down! Oh, Daddy Pose is in the chat as well.
Who is?
Daddy Pose. My father.
Oh!
Sorry, was that one too cryptic?
Well, the thing is that your Daddy Pose, I was a bit like...
Oh, right, fair enough. Granddaddy Pose.
I was a bit like, well, clearly you're here. Right, this whole feeding a baby's going to have to go, I'm afraid.
Shall I hold the baby?
No, she's literally feeding.
Oh.
See, they've got their own baby.
That's true, Landon. That was Lanyon, I assume. Unless Susan's regressed somewhat.
He's running around being a terror. It's okay. They'll be out of the way soon.
That's right. What are you going to do to him? That sounded kind of sinister.
Sounded kind of threatening, yeah. Don't worry, it'll all be over soon.
I was going to finish the sentence, but Daddy can continue drinking alone. It sounded really dark.
Warning. Uh-oh, I've got a warning. Heal. What's that mean? Well, obviously I know what heal means.
And that's the type of attack that he's going to play next.
Okay.
So he's going to, after you hit him, he's going to heal himself. But if you match pink gems rather than yellow gems, you heal yourself.
How would I know that?
How would you know what?
That if I match pink gems rather than yellow gems, I'll heal myself.
I think it was in the tutorial bit that I skipped.
The tutorial bit that you skipped.
I didn't know that I'd skipped.
You do in a tutorial. Yeah, you learn in a tutorial.
Okay, so now I need to match pink, is that right?
No, your health is fine. So your health is this big pink bar in the middle.
Okay.
But if that ever gets low, you deliberately then match pink to push it back up.
I bet you did a great tutorial, Lee.
I did. The tutorial was a point of huge contention, but you skipped it, so this will be nothing to focus.
Why was it contention? Who didn't like it?
But I really want. We got a lot of feedback back from like Google. We got an email from Google Games team saying you have to cut this tutorial down to about 1/10 of the size it is, or you're going to lose everyone and nobody will want to play this game. I'm not losing all this story. I think Doctor Who fans will the type of Doctor Who fans we want will understand why we put the story in and why we gave it all context instead of just going, hey, here's gameplay, get playing, and we'll introduce Doctor Who later. So we opted on the side of a long tutorial that explains some very basic things very slowly to make sure that people understand.
Well, I think
that's the biggest flaw of it.
As far as I know, I haven't come across anyone who plays the game that went, oh great, there's a gem matching game, let's play it. I think nearly all of them have gone, oh great, that's a Doctor Who game and let's play it, and then found that they like the gameplay as well. So I think people will expect there to be Doctor Who plots.
Well, they should be. It should be soaked in Doctor Who everywhere, including the beginning, including tutorial.
Soaked.
And it was tough. It was me standing up to most of the people involved in this game. When Google tells you to do something, you should probably listen. When the Google Games team says we have all this data that says you shouldn't do massively long tutorials like this because you just lose so many people. So yeah, it was one of the biggest fights, if we had any, really, in the company trying to work out the way this should go.
When you say Google there, it sounds like it's a person. It's kind of scary. Google says...
Oh, should I rate the game now?
Oh, I don't know. What rating would you give it? Maybe do it. Maybe do it later and see what you think. So then,
I just added that recently. I don't know if that's too early for it to pop up. It seems a bit forced at that point.
It's a little bit before you've actually played the game, yeah. But
yeah, well, I think we only I added it a few weeks ago. I need to look at that. I'll make a note.
Okay, moving on to stalemate.
So again, you'd be picking a team here, but because you've only got 3 characters,
my team is already picked for me.
Your team is picked for you. Granddaddy Pose seems to be choosing his own name. He now thinks he prefers Papa Pose.
Papa Pose.
Papa Pose is quite cool.
Cyberman, get down.
I should call myself Papa Pose. Oh man.
Do you really want to skip the story? No, I don't want to skip the story. Why would I? What? Where did the story go?
Did you skip the story?
I didn't mean to skip the story.
She skipped your story, Lee.
Sorry, Lee.
Well, it takes no time to restart it. And we were begged by everyone to put that in, and that's the nearest we've got to a complaint that it's actually in there now. You not being happy with the story.
I think she might have clicked it accidentally or something. Yeah. But the reason of that is because I think people have to grind to get some of their characters up that they may possibly get just a little bit sick of the story.
I can't do anything.
Later, it's long story bits.
I am on fire.
You are just... These Cybermen are dissolving in front of you. It's like
I know.
having some sort of Fire Lord playing the game.
Next wave, upgrade in progress.
Do you feel powerful right now?
Pretty powerful, yeah.
And it's really interesting where that comes from. There's less colours on the board than there should be, which makes you get lots of combos just mathematically by default.
What, you mean that I'm not actually the best player in the whole wide world ever?
No, but it makes you feel like it, doesn't it? It's awesome. You get combos everywhere, and we slowly wean you off it by adding new colours as we add new colour characters.
Man, see, that was me just thinking I was awesome.
Oh, you got attacked.
What?
Look at your gems.
Where, what?
You got locked up. Your gems got locked up. Although don't get me and Lee started on a debate about what's a locked gem and what's not a locked gem. It's a contentious subject.
It sounds contentious.
Apparently a locked gem aren't actually locked.
Oh.
Oh
my god, Lee got a 5 times combo there.
Yeah, that's because I'm awesome. This is what I've been trying to tell everybody.
Scott Alonzi says that he thinks Clarie is better than Addy.
I am.
Blue Tech, no, I don't think she can use perks yet. She's probably too soon, but...
I'm going to be deleted.
Delete. Pop. Yes, John, Clarie is playing Doctor Who Legacy. My hands are free, I'm not playing anything. This is all Clarie. Oh, you've got a whole bunch of Cybermen to beat there.
A whole bunch of Cybermen.
Now, those time crystals, that thing that you've got in the middle of the screen there, at the top.
Yeah.
Is a time crystal which you can use to upgrade characters or buy stuff from the store. It's like the currency in this game.
Did you see how amazing that was?
You just got a 6 times combo. Wow. Every time you get a combo, it powers up the damage that you do. So when you get loads of combos, the whole thing just goes... I'm not sure Clarie's ever played Bejeweled, actually, Convoc. Have you ever played Bejeweled?
No.
Have you ever played any match 3 gems game?
I don't know.
Now, you see your Matt Smith character?
Yeah,
you see how he's glowing. When you have a character that's glowing, if you tap them, you can then activate their special ability. So read what it does and then see if you'd like to activate it.
Cunning. Deal 500 damage to all enemies. Would I like to use this ability? I feel like I don't really need to at the moment. Can you save it up for later?
Not into the next level.
In that case, I might as well just blast him.
But you can use it in the next wave. But yeah, you can go, won't you? Bit of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Kaboom!
That was in one go, pretty much.
That wasn't
Warning. Grab.
But you see how when the Doctor's ability is ready, they're like big and spectacular, but these guys actually have abilities as well. So Vastra has a little ability.
150 damage.
So she's a bit less powerful, but still...
Why not?
Very, very cool.
That's pretty cool.
Now, Jenny's one is different. If you have a look what hers
converts blue gems to red. Okay, well, I'm not going to use that right now because I might need it later.
99 Thermo. Now, sorry, Clarie doesn't want to appear on screen, I'm afraid, so I'm not going to put her on the chat, but I will put Izzy on in a minute.
When she stopped eating.
When she stopped eating.
I'm going to convert my blue gems to red just for funsies. Oh, look at that. Ooh.
So if you ever had a situation where you had 2 red characters and 1 blue character, or even no blue characters, you can then still get use out of those gems.
Did you see how many I got then?
Quite a lot. And how's Mr. Clever going to respond to that?
Victoire!
Victoire the Clarie pose!
Victoire the Clarie pose.
Zach, can we get a Clarie style huzzah? You might need your own word. I feel my word is huzzah.
Klazar.
Klazar?
Yeah.
That sounds like a part of the body.
Klazar? No, it doesn't. What part of the body do you have that's called a klazar?
Okay, maybe I don't. Thank you for putting me in my place.
Have you ever heard Madame Vastra speak in real life?
Well, she doesn't exist in real life.
The actress.
Oh, no, I haven't. Why?
Nightmare in Silver, Mr. Clever.
Why? What does she sound like in real life?
Northern, not very posh.
Northern?
Okay, here I go.
Many planets have a north, apparently.
That's true.
Now, we were watching... You carry on playing and having fun. We were watching... We've decided not only are we going to play games on the show, we're also going to talk, have a bit more kind of Doctor Who-related kind of chatter in here. And as such, we went all the way back and watched Rose, the very first episode of the reboot. We watched it yesterday, I think it was, and we thought we'd kind of have a bit of time kind of chatting that while we're kind of doing bits of kind of gameplay as well. So, if you guys would like, as while we're kind of chatting, to tell us some of your memories of Rose, I'll read some of them out. Did you like it? Do you not like it? What's your kind of like the first thing that kind of pops into your head? Did you like it when you first watched it? Any of your ideas about that very first episode, Rose? Stick them into the chat, and I'll read out some of my favourites.
But make sure you don't stop watching me being awesome.
Of course they won't stop watching you being awesome. No one can take their eyes away from the screen. I can't. It's like a car crash. You just can't stop looking.
What?
Yeah.
Car crash? I just got a 5 combo, 6 combo, 7 combo.
Lee, what are your thoughts on Rose?
Do you want to hear my weird Rose anecdote that just runs through my mind every time they show that store? It's the same store they use in closing time. It's a store in Cardiff.
Yeah, we saw it on the Doctor Who tour. It looks like a London, but it's not. But go for it. Yeah, anecdote away.
So it's been there for years. So it's older than me by many, many, many years. And whenever people ask my mother if I was a fussy eater growing up, she would say, whenever she was out shopping in Cardiff, there was only one thing I would eat, which was the Sunday lunch at this department store, and she would ask them to blend the whole thing with the gravy, and then I would just sit there and, like when I was 2 years old, just drink or eat or whatever the hell they were forcing into me. This blended Sunday lunch, and it was that department store. It's that on that corner. So every time I know that store inside and out. I've been there thousands of times in my life. So I can't really watch any episode set there without just being dragged back to the real world. It's really, really strange.
And do you still eat blended gravy from that department store?
Whenever I can, absolutely.
It was interesting because we went on this Doctor Who experience tour, which I think I've told you guys about before, but for you guys in the chat, basically it's this bloke and he takes you around Cardiff.
Oh, I got a new character, sorry.
Hey, well done you. Do you recognise him?
Mm-hmm.
It's orange. And he's a black colour.
Oh, I've got a new colour, have I?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you add him to your team.
Oh, okay.
So if you now go into, see that flashing green thing on the side? If you go in there, if you go into your team, edit team members, and then you can add him into your team.
Oh, look, I've got other ones.
Oh, you've got other ones. How have you managed that? In fact, you could make a very powerful team early on.
It's because I'm awesome.
Because you're awesome. So if you click there, into one of the question marks, you can then add Porridge to your team.
And shall I add the others too?
I don't know, Lee, should you all that unbalance it? She's going to...
Just go through the beginning of the game until you have a team in the way you should.
Okay, so I wouldn't
unless you just want to jam characters in the team.
No, we can wait. Yes, we went on this little...
so what was that? Add them or don't add them?
Don't add them, because it might unbalance it. So just hit back, and that's your team, and then you can go back into the levels, which you then go there, side again, play episode, again season 7, and then whichever level you're up to.
I was up to grade.
It's actually technically impossible to beat some of these levels with certain teams, even if they're max level.
Oh, really?
So people try to go back through the game with like a mono green team, and there's levels where green gems don't drop. So you could, at this point, drop a couple of green guys in; they would be completely useless.
Look, I got black gems.
we went on this tour. You got black. So you've now got black gems because you've got a black character.
It's okay. I'm still going to be awesome.
Of course you are. No, I'm just. So yeah, we went on this little tour around Cardiff, and it shows you loads and loads of episodes. Places where they filmed Doctor Who, and obviously it was very cool just to see, places that are recognised, but also it was fascinating finding places in Cardiff which they had made look London, and that shop was a prime example. The shop that gets blown up that Rose works in, in that episode. It's just this, a pretty old shop in Cardiff, and they just put some London style buses outside and some London style taxis outside and a few things like that, and your mind just kind of believes it's London without too much trouble, which is pretty cool.
We had a lovely time on our Doctor Who tour.
We did loads of photos. In fact, we did a video on it, actually, for those of you that are interested. Let me read out some of what the people in the chat are saying about Rose.
I seem to remember from the last time we mentioned Rose in the chat that people weren't huge Rose fans.
Well, we're not talking about Rose the character here. We're talking about Rose the episode. So let's see what people say. ZRS1 says, looking back on it later and in the context of the rest of the show, it's a great Eccleston performance. He sold it from the off. Tikir, I hope I pronounced that one right, says, Rose was my introduction to Doctor Who and I didn't know what to make of it at first, but by the end of the series I had fallen in love with it. Amy, I loved Rose and I loved the Ninth Doctor immediately. Meowmix, it was so strange. I had friends who had been watching Doctor Who as it aired, otherwise I probably would not have kept going. The lighting was terrible. Interesting, the lighting was terrible.
Lighting, I don't know if I noticed that.
But 9 was fantastic. I loved him. I had watched old Doctor Who with my nan for years. When Rose came on, I was hyped. New Who, new series, and I could watch it all, even though I was really young, and I had a crush on Rose.
Aww, everyone had a bit.
Lee, did you have a crush on Rose, or is Susan?
I think he can get bludgeoned if he.
You know, there's certain conversations I can't have without being delivered.
You actually managed to disturb Clara in the last stream because she was concerned with how regularly you talked about being bludgeoned in your sleep. Is this something you like a regular fear of yours?
Well, she may do one day, but I probably deserve it. Rose is a weird episode. Rose is a heavy episode to launch a reboot of Doctor Who on. You need to understand a lot about the Doctor. It's not just here's the Doctor. It's like the Nestine consciousness and the link to the Auton stuff is a pretty heavy thing to get across. And the Doctor is wacky, and you can only understand his performance if you look at it through him having complete post-traumatic stress disorder after coming out of the Time War, which would have just happened.
Or like, not, as we found out later.
But he believes he has.
He believes he has.
But it's a much better performance if you look at it like that, like a guy who's gone through hell and is now trying to rebuild his life. It makes a lot more sense. I didn't like his performance at first because it made absolutely no sense to me. He's just diving around the screen.
It was very he smiles a lot, doesn't he? Like because he's often known as kind of like one of the grumpier Doctors.
He's very sarcastic smiling though.
Yeah, he mocks almost everyone he speaks to and is very abrupt. But it was interesting. I was looking kind of from a narrative point of view that Rose is exclusively shot and told from Rose's perspective. Obviously, the episode's called Rose, but the first character you see is Rose. You go through her day at work. You go through her finding the alien, and then the Doctor shows up, and then the Doctor disappears. But then you stick with Rose until the Doctor then kind of shows up again. And if you contrast that to say, is it Time of the Doctor? The most recent Matt Smith one, which is all told exclusively from the Doctor's perspective. It's interesting that they very much kind of wanted from those early episodes for the viewer to be Rose and kind of be introduced slowly to the Doctor's world, whereas now we're so familiar with the Doctor that they now tell the stories from his perspective.
It's always those episodes they do where they take someone else's perspective are always really, really interesting. I always wish they do more of them because things like Blink is obviously the biggest of those where the Doctor's barely in it, but things like Turn Left. Ooh. Turn Left is amazing because he's barely in the episode. And it's an amazing Doctor Who tale, just driven by the companions over the years. And they were, it's you don't see it enough, and there's a really good example of it.
Well, it does work because I think the Doctor is actually quite a difficult character to have as the main character because he's also kind of wise and all knowing and kind of
really
weird.
And it's a narrative sort of crutch. It sort of hobbles you. You need to sort of get away from the Doctor to have any fear in there because it's really hard for the Doctor in a situation where you really think he's going to get hurt in any real way. It's always people around him who get hurt. So if you watch something like 42 where they split him off, the Doctor's at one end and the companion's at the other end, he gets spun off into the space. It's a really tense episode because they could die. You need to pull them apart.
Which I guess then is so important to have a likeable companion because, I mean, we were never big fans of Amy, and every time Amy got into peril,
we were always like, die, please die. And then she did, and then she came back to life.
Yeah, she did. They kept killing Rory. Yeah, it turns out that Amy dying is very temporary.
Well, wait a minute. Just to stick up the sort of guys. Doctor Who is sort of with female characters who get put in bad situations and get out. Nobody ever gets hurt. And then suddenly you have Rory get into a bad situation and he's killed off. And then he's stuck as a Centurion for thousands of years. And then Captain Jack starts to come in and he's put in, he's put some hell in that. It's so unfair for the guys in the universe.
Poor guys.
I think they're just happy to kill off guys instead of women.
Let's get some more comments from the chat. Alfred JJ says, everyone I know who started with the first season of New Who never watched many episodes, but those who start with the second season love it and then went back to season 1. The Ninth Doctor isn't very accessible, I find.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Well, you weren't hooked on Doctor Who at the beginning. It was actually Father's Day that hooked you in.
Yeah, but that's just... I don't know. I don't really have an explanation for it.
Well, 99 Thermo says that first episode is one of the most important, although I didn't like Rose the character and Eccleston wasn't my favourite either. It was the episode that revived Doctor Who. It's a huge piece of history, and in terms of the story and dialogue, I actually liked it. I disliked Rose more and more the episodes I watched. Have you got an explanation for this one, Lee? Because Rose at the time was one of the most popular characters ever, and yet whenever we seem to mention her in the chat, she seems to get a ton of hate. And why do you think that is? I mean, do you have any ideas?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I love Rose.
So you love Rose. Lee, what do you think?
I don't know. I haven't got a clue. But I know the same. Anecdotally, I know lots of people who actually go back a minute who hated or just couldn't get hold of the first season, then loved the rest of it. They found the first one very inaccessible for whatever reason. And I know lots and lots of people who don't like Rose. I know more people who don't like Rose than who did like Rose.
Really?
Than do like Rose now. It's weird. I
love Rose. I'd marry her if I wasn't married to Addy. Right, I'm going to finish this level, and then Izzy's done a great big poo, so I might need to go and change her nappy.
Probably for the best. Fancy RR says, I started with the first new episode and watched them all the way through. I was hooked. 10 was the one I really fell for, though. ZRS1 says Rose was best as the Ninth Doctor's companion. I guess it is. There's many things with it which is a shame with the Christopher Eccleston Doctor, but we never got to see him with another companion to see how he interacted.
Why is he recording?
You're right there, honey.
Stupid Dalek.
Shall I take Izzy while she screams?
Yes, please.
So we'll put Izzy's a little bit sad, I'm afraid, people. She's possibly just done a poo.
See, she's sitting in her own poo.
She's sitting in her own feces, so we'll just put her on camera while she while she deals with that.
These Daleks. I've got another Dalek now to beat.
Oh, there you go. She seems to have.
Oh, good.
She seems to have
She likes
calmed down.
being a star.
All right, Convoc would like to tell you, Clarie, that gems can be moved in a circle and over the whole board. Okay, so you don't have to just make one link. You can say move. If you can see a way of moving a gem so it connects more than one set of 3, then you can, and that's how you get kind of multiple combos in there. If anyone hasn't met Izzy before, this is little Izzy, and or Izzy Pose. I've already signed up for her Twitter account, by the way. So
yeah, apologies to anyone who's tweeted me and I've not tweeted back.
And those of you that have signed up for the posse, which is the people with the little stars in their name below, they are now up on the website, but I haven't yet taken the gold for it. But we will get to those. So don't worry.
Oh, I get to read more narrative.
Oh, I thought you were okay.
Oh yeah, I really.
Make sure you add Rory to your team. Did you just get Rory?
Oh,
bless you. I'll add Rory. My sonic screwdriver is picking up. Is it bad that my daughter's sitting in her own poo whilst I'm playing Doctor Who Legacy?
I think it's probably.
Is anyone going to call social services?
Possibly a sign of the times. Really.
My sonic screwdriver is picking up readings from a paradox ahead.
Hey, Izzy, there's loads and loads of people saying hi to you, although most of them are calling you Squizzy. Was that my fault? Did I call her Squizzy? I might have called her Squizzy. She's a little Squizzy.
We need to close it to stabilise time. Yes, we do that. Some of the readings are very strange. Coming from my past, we need to be very, very careful. Anything could be in there.
Anything could be in there.
Drama. Oh, I can't. Is it too late now?
Now, if you hit the cogs in the corner,
yeah,
you can go and get you can go out and add Rory to your team. Yes, indeed, Van Squish. He had a somewhat moving experience. Although I'm not sure we should start going down the feces-related puns jokes, otherwise I'll get told off by Clarie.
Oops. You could always, change her nappy.
I could change a nappy?
Yeah.
What, you want to take over the show?
I'm just saying, but, you could change her nappy.
Yeah, she's sorting that now, 12 Old World, but thank you for the tips. What else are people saying? Oh, Claret Taven says, is there an option to replay the tutorial? I don't think there is actually the very, very first one, but I don't think you really need to. In fact, a couple of people have asked that one as well.
Yeah, we get the question every so often, every few weeks. We get an email to support asking if you're going to play, and I always point to your video where you play through the tutorial.
Don't I stop moaning about the game halfway through that?
Possibly. If they love it enough, they want to go back and play the tutorial again. I don't think you've done the tutorial. Unless it's horrible. I guess I've missed something in it. Do you start just attacking the game?
No, I don't. I think
I watch this video of somebody.
Oh, hang on, we've got crying in.
Okay, you finish that level for me, and I will go and change her.
I think we had I think what it was I think Hughes. It was one of my mods actually. I think was telling me. Apparently, halfway through, I'm reading all the dialogue, and somewhere halfway through, kind of asking if there's any gameplay in this game, which is fairly similar to I think what Google was saying.
That's exactly what they were saying. We did it really well. We did our best to hide the gameplay far away from it.
But I must have liked it because I went back and made more tutorials for it, so I can't have been that abusive to it. Right, so I'm finishing this level for Clarie. So, I mean, obviously, as Clarie's going to play this as a beginner, if you were to give, say, as the game's designer, if you were to give, say, 2 tips for absolute beginners, or 3 tips, what would those tips be?
Go dual colour early. Pick a couple of characters you like and work, and depending which roles you get, try to get a 2-colour team together early and stick with it for a while and learn how it plays. Would be one. What would the other one be? Make sure you keep your characters upgraded all the time. Mm-hmm. Always make sure that you spend the points and it only takes a few seconds to go in and just make sure everyone's hitting as hard as they should be. Because if you do forget to do that for a few levels, especially early in the game, it does have some real consequences for difficulty.
Did you hear, which I'm going to do this in a minute, did you hear about the disaster we had with the final giveaway on Thursday?
The disaster you had with the what?
With the final giveaway on Thursday. I think it was after you'd thrown your laptop in the pool.
Yeah, Susan mentioned it. She said she was waiting for an email from you with the name.
Indeed, because we haven't drawn it yet, so I thought I'd draw it. Right now I saved all the entrants. So we can kind of draw it on this show. Basically, what happened, and I have solved this problem before someone else wants to cause it again. Someone very, very helpfully decided to try and buy a negative amount of raffle tickets. Which,
you should beat up that programmer. Who coded that? You go give it.
I just want to know. I asked. I asked Seed. I asked Seed Studio to look through it, but So it actually, because of the way I'd coded it, it basically minuses 1 each time. Every time someone buys a ticket, it buys a ticket and then minuses 1, buys a ticket, minuses 1. Because it was -0, it just kept adding on tickets. And so this person ended up with something like 300,000 tickets. And I was like, I don't think anyone's been watching that long. And so it somewhat screwed it up. But we can do it through the magic of Adivision. We can do that.
Wait, make sure you don't beat the paradox. Your wife should definitely have the privilege of beating the first paradox and unlocking the 10th Doctor.
That's true. Okay.
Are you about to beat the paradox?
You told me to beat the level.
I didn't tell you to beat the level.
Okay, I'll come out of the level.
I actually told you to change Izzy's nappy.
You did actually tell me to do Izzy's nappy. Shall I finish doing Izzy's nappy?
I've done it.
Oh, you've done it now.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I'll draw our winner from Thursday while you're coming back over, and then you can finish off this level. So I'm starting the so I'm not opening this raffle, and I'm not going to let anyone else enter it because this is the raffle from Thursday. But I am going to start the tombola. So these are all the people that actually bought tickets the other night, and this was a pretty awesome prize. And we'll send it to Susan unless Lee can do it for us right now. But the prize was actually you can choose any character to be unlocked and any costume to be unlocked, with the exception of the expert level reward. So this is a choose your own prize, which is pretty cool. So as you can see all the tickets flying past there, I think we did have just over 10,000 people enter regardless of the bug. So this was a very, very popular prize. I didn't actually count the total there, but I can see the numbers kind of going up well up above 10,000 there. So I'm assuming there's going to be a few people in the stream that were here on Thursday. So there's our cat as well. My goodness, it turns out everyone wants to be on this stream. Oh, really?
It's the most professional stream
It's the most professional stream ever. That's our cat. Okay, so the winner from Thursday's giveaway is... Oh, yeah! Dabflow! Congratulations, Dabflow.
Well done, Dabflow.
Are you in the stream? Dabflow is in the stream. Congratulations to Dabflow. I wonder how many tickets Dabflow had chosen. So well done, Dabflow. So what you need to let us know, I think it's probably easy if they message me. If you send me a Twitch...
Yeah, if you get the information together and send it over, we'll go down.
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so Dabflow, if you send me a direct message telling me which character you want and which costume you want. If you've got all the costumes, sorry, and if you've got all the characters, sorry, but whatever you want, just not the expert ones, but you can choose anything else apart from that, and I'll message it over to Susan and Lee, and they'll get you the quotes back. By the way, for those of you that are slightly confused about Dabflow's name, it's not what you think. Read it backwards. So if you do that, if not, Dabflow may actually not be here as well. So I don't know, but they are in the chat. Did you want to finish off this level then?
Yes, please.
Okay, well I'll give you this back.
And I'll give you this back.
Okay, and I'll take this back. Thank you very much. I think that's the latest level. Yep, Dalek Paradox.
Okay, let's do it.
No pressure, but if you beat this level, you get David.
Ooh, let's go. Do you think I've got the right team?
You've got the only team you can have at this point, so yes, you have the
Excellent.
right. You have the right team.
I chose well. Here we go. Who is my enemy?
Oh, you've got little strawberries. Okay, you talk to Lee, and I'll walk around the room with Izzy.
With Izzy pose. My sonic screwdriver is picking up readings. I'm sure I just did this plot. We need to close.
There's a handy dandy X in a corner to skip it.
Ah, okay. Do you really want to skip the story? Yes, on account of the fact that you've done the story. Okay, I've got 2 Daleks, a blue one and a yellow one. Let's go. Bring it. Oh god, I can't see any. There we go. So someone was saying that I can move gems anywhere. Is that right? No one's going to talk to me.
So the way you sort of start to learn the game is you can pick up one gem and you move it to another place where it causes one match, which you can do. But what you realise then is you can use that gem to bump other ones into position, or just by virtue of moving it, cause a match to happen.
Okay.
Right? So try to move. Pick a gem which is near a cluster where you can move that cluster into a line by moving the gem, and then match that gem somewhere else.
That's
so,
just
for example, you see this yellow here?
Yeah.
If you move that left, that blue is then going to move into the space where the yellow was, which would match up those blues, and then you could then put that yellow up matching those ones. Does that make sense? Oh, except you then didn't move the yellow to the other yellows.
Okay, I think I see. Let's see if I can get one.
So what I'm saying, let me show you another example. So see that yellow there?
Yeah.
If you move that yellow down, what's going to happen to that green?
It will go up and match with the greens.
Okay, but remember you've then still got that yellow in your hand.
Yeah.
So before you let go of that yellow, match up with some other yellows.
So I could take that and then put it there.
Correct. You got it?
I get the idea.
And it's not just 2 combos. You could do that with 3 and even 4 if you're feeling particularly magical.
I am feeling particularly magical. I am, you know.
I just did Flying Izzy on the stream, and
oh crap!
The people in the chat are loving it.
Screwed that up.
Shall I try it again? Let's have maybe Flying Izzy.
Flying Izzy, yeah. She probably wants some more food.
She probably, but
you need to grow some.
We'll try one more Flying Izzy before we go.
See, I'm thinking really hard about this now. Endless fun.
Endless fun with Flying Izzy. Oh yeah.
How am I doing?
Apparently Izzy didn't like Flying Izzy quite as much. Is he speaking to you, Lily?
Sorry, I was listening to the music and the laughter. You can play when I'm talking to you and you fail in the game and you're flying a child around the room. Well, your wife who's barely touched the game is trying to get through the first levels. It's not fair, is it?
Not fair. Never fair.
What was
I missed the question because I didn't know if it was... What was the question?
I think Claire just asked how she's doing.
Oh, well, I'm like 30, 40 seconds behind you. I'm watching you and you're doing great in the past.
Are you not watching Skype? I've shared my monitor with you, so you should be able to have a completely up-to-date screen.
I did not know you had done that, or that you could do that.
I discovered it the other day, and it's quite useful because it means whoever I'm talking to can see exactly what I'm doing up to date. Which is quite cool, isn't it?
That changes everything.
It changes everything.
So you just matched 3 blues. Okay. Okay.
What is that thing? What is that thing? We call them Reapers.
So, do you remember that from Father's Day?
I do. The Time Lords kept them in check while they could. Now they hunt through time and space looking for paradoxes. They are incredibly dangerous. We can't destroy it, but it will vanish when we close the paradox. Close the paradox, Annie! Close the paradox!
I can't. I'm holding a baby. It's all down to you, Will.
No, we just need to get past it. Okay. I'm going to see what my magical abilities are. What's Rory's? Stand firm. Heal allies for 100 health points. Would you like to use this ability? Not now.
So if you see that line in the pink, if that gets low, that's when you use Rory.
That's when I use the roster. Convert blue gems
or rolls,
to
as we
red.
sometimes know.
I don't think there's a lot of merit in me doing that now. That would be useful.
Lee, did you want to explain to Clarie why the Doctor's ability is slightly different to all the others?
Yeah. There's two things. Doctor, everyone else gets powered up by turns. So every time you have a turn, their weight reduces by 1, down to 0 when it hits 0. It triggers them. But the Doctor, he powers up on combos. So the more combos you do, the quicker he gets powered up. And he has 2 power levels. So you power him up once, and his background flashes. And then later, when you've done more combos, he powers up again, and the outside of his box starts to flash.
Okay. So perhaps I ought not to have used that one.
No, it means you can... It's your choice. I don't think there's a wrong time to use him, but he is more powerful if you let him combo twice. So when do you guys travel to the UK, Lee?
We just started packing this morning. We're leaving for the airport at 7 a.m. Monday morning. Going through Seattle.
So are we still planning on doing a show Thursday?
We are going to, yeah, we should be fine. Susan and I, it's just us and laptops, so we can set up an office anywhere, which includes on the road, on the way somewhere. So we're good at moving an office around, so we should be fine.
If you fancy moving an office to sunny Watford, we could do it live.
I'm gonna be very, very jet lagged Thursday, but we will absolutely be doing this. Yeah, it'd be awesome at the right time zone as well.
Oh yeah, this is true.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that probably means for once it'll be all of us kind of yawning and going, we're pretty tired, we should finish, as opposed to me going, I'm really tired, and you guys going, really, we're just going in the pool.
So with that narrative, I tried to decide early on that I couldn't try to have too much sort of really, really heavy, Doctor Who-iness in the story, because it would just, anyone who didn't know Doctor Who could just be swamped by like really Doctor Who-iness of, like talking about Reapers too early on. But when we got to the Reapers, I was like, oh, cool. I can put them in some sort of context, and it's a really cool context. Even if you're a Doctor Who fan, you may not know that, that the Reapers can't really be hurt, and that they have to be sort of got around, like little bits like that. So it starts to get a little bit more hooey as you get to the story.
More hooey.
Clarie versus Paradox. So bearing in mind you're speaking to the creator of the game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's cool.
There you go, Lee. There's your review.
Thank you. That's fine. That's an awesome review.
Did you want more than that? You might have to wait till I finish concentrating.
That's true. Clarie, it's probably a good job Clarie isn't on the stream, because her concentration face is quite angry.
What? I don't have an angry concentration face, you meanie.
Do you remember when we first started dating, I'd say things to you like, are you okay? You look really, really cross. And you'd be like, yeah, I'm just thinking.
It depends what I'm thinking about and how angry it's making me. This isn't making me angry.
So after this, you get to do your first roll for a character and put your first team together.
Oh, how
and that's
exciting.
when you swap in your extras you've got, the Ood and the K9. And you can swap in 10th Doctor as well if you want.
Awesome.
That is a Paradox Van Squish. That's exactly what they look like. For any of you that have always wondered what a Paradox looks like, it's big, flashy, and pink.
We modelled it on the Paradox from Father's Day. It's the only instance of a Paradox being called a Paradox in the Doctor Who universe that we could find.
Well, there's a Doctor Who fact of the day.
There's a little Doctor Who fact of the day.
So you see them come through these cracks, and we modelled the cracks, and then we span them to make them look a bit more interesting. And then we started using a slight variation on it for certain things. Like when Jack Harkness comes into the story and tries to beat through a paradox to you, we change the colour a bit so it's a little bit different from the idea of time collapsing around you.
Izzy will celebrate with you as well.
Izzy will celebrate by having some more milk, presumably.
Hooray!
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 Klazar!
I did it.
You did it. You have defeated your first big boss in Doctor Who Legacy.
Yeah.
You've all secured that level upping that's going on.
Yeah.
That now means when you want to, you can go into your TARDIS and level up, make your characters a bit more powerful.